court of public opinion has come back and found him guilty of the most brazen, rank hypocrisy imaginable.
Have they really, the court of public opinion?
I think so.
That is your view, to be fair.
It's not. I don't think it's just my view. The polls suggest that his popularity is sinking to all-time lows, but it's not really about that. This really comes down, I think, to that one party. Forget all the others for a moment. The one party back in May 2020. This was the time when the entire country had been in lockdown for weeks on end. This was a time when you couldn't go and see loved ones when they were dying in hospital from this virus. This was a time when, on that day that they had this party, Oliver Dowden, the government minister, who you've got coming on, and it'll be interesting to see what he says about this, but literally minutes after he has the brass neck to stand there at the Downing Street press conference and order everybody, you're allowed to only meet one person outside at 2 metre distance from another household. I met my eldest son that day for the first time in 3 months at a 2 metre distance. I wasn't even able to shake hands with my son, but I had it on that scale of what was going on. I had a cousin who couldn't see his dying father. I had a great school friend who couldn't see her mother, who died in a care home from COVID, had to say goodbye on FaceTime, then had a funeral for a handful of people. I had a co-worker, Kate Garraway, at Good Morning Britain, who couldn't go and see her critically ill husband. All over the country, people had these kind of stories, and they were horrific stories of separation. And yet the very people who were telling the country to do this were having a massive knees up in Downing Street that night and carried on having knees ups throughout the entire pandemic. And it's a complete disgrace.
This does not mean that the Prime Minister will go, though, does it?
It doesn't mean he will go. It does mean he should go, because public trust in the government has surely been completely shattered. Now, the Conservative Party will decide whether he will continue as leader, but every Conservative MP must be looking at all these stories and concluding, surely, that confidence, public confidence, has been irrevocably destroyed by what's happened here. I can't think of a bigger breach, frankly, than a global health emergency where the government make these draconian orders and completely disregard them with impunity.